Welcome back to another episode of Ask the Attorney, and I'm your host, Alex Alexander with Client Focused Media. Today, I'm really excited to bring Scott Busby, JUST Busby Law, Just Be Just. You can find him online at justbusbylaw.com. Hey, Scott, how you doing today?
Doing great. It's a real pleasure for me to be with you guys today and talk a little bit about Just Be Just.
Excellent. We're excited to have you here. So, you and I talked a little bit before we came on air, and you guys have a kind of a unique business model in that the number of people that you have working for you all have great experience, and you brought forward this Just Be Just. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I've been practicing law for 31 years, had done plaintiff's personal injury for friends and family for till 2015 when I created a law firm with my best friend from that larger firm. We had done almost all defense work up to then. And then as we started our own firm, we grew that from a couple of lawyers to 7 lawyers. And part of that growth was on the plaintiff side. And so the more we realized how much we enjoyed representing individuals and just the fact that we thought that our experience as defense lawyers helped us represent them at a higher level, prompted us to really pursue representing individuals on their personal injury and wrongful death claims.
So we talked a little bit about there's a code, right? There in Georgia. And by the way, you are licensed in the state of Georgia, but also in Florida. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Oh, okay. So talk to us about the creed or the code that you guys live up to or you live for.
Yeah, it's one of our focal points. You know, it's funny. I started giving some thought to creating Just Busby Law, and more importantly, this phrase "Just Be Just" kept coming to my mind. And it's really just says, just do the right thing. And, there's a lot of lawyer advertising out there that plays on people's greed or has some kind of funny, almost humorous tagline for the lawyer. And I really kind of, maybe I'm not trying to be too highbrow, but I wanted to call people to a higher level, and not just lawyers, certainly lawyers, but our judges, our claims adjusters, and even our clients, the people who have been victims of a personal injury. And in researching that, I had been practicing for 30 years and did not even know we had in Georgia something called the Lawyer's Creed. And it's really 6 affirmations of professionalism. You know, it's dealing with a lot of different topics like integrity, civil service, and also just giving people access to the courts. You know, our consultations are free and you don't pay attorney fees unless you get a recovery. And I believe that hits one of the concepts that we're talking about in this creed. There are really about 6 affirmations, and one of the categories is serving the public. And one of the ways we serve the public is access to the courts. And we love the fact that people can come to us, get an initial free consultation, and then if we take their case, it will be no charge to them unless we get a recovery, and then we take our fees from a portion of that recovery. So I can tell you, if you'd like, maybe some of the other areas of affirmations, calling the courts, colleagues, lawyers to a higher standard of practice.
I would love to know. Please share a couple of them.
So I'll just tell the other one. I'll go in reverse order. If people look this up online, it's the Georgia Bar's Georgia Lawyers Creed, and you can read the entirety of it yourself. I won't read it to you, but the public is one. We serve the public, and I take that very seriously. I think certainly, especially people who can't afford lawyers. Wealthy people, companies, insurance companies, and big corporate America, they hire lawyers by the hour because they can afford to. But individuals usually don't have the means to do that. I have done it. I've represented some wealthy people who their husband was killed in a car wreck, and they hired me on an hourly basis, but that's because they could afford to do so. So I take that very seriously, that we're making the courts accessible to the public. Another area where we're called to serve is to serve our profession. And it's a calling to public service. And I think a lot of times this is the area where maybe lawyers don't always do what we're trying to do, which is tell people that we take our responsibilities to the courts, to our clients, even to our opposition very seriously. And to realize that the practice of law is a high calling and one that needs to be treated as such. Even our other colleagues, that's another one of the 6 affirmations. And just how we treat our colleagues. We have a lack of civility online. You can go online and hear everybody rant and rave and cuss and attack other people. And certainly you can do that. And I see people do that, unfortunately, in the practice of law. But my belief is that not only is it the right strategy, but it's a winning strategy to treat your colleagues even with professionalism and respect. Another one is the courts. Let me tell you, they are the foundation of justice in our country. And the rule of law, I think I've traveled overseas a fair amount and had been on mission trips or other reasons to go to other countries. And you see systems there that don't have a strong foundation of a court system and a legal system that is grounded in integrity and excellence. And we have some great judges that do this to the benefit of our whole country. And a lot of people don't realize just how important it is that we have our courts and their staff handle things with excellence and with integrity. I've talked a little bit already about one of the others is that we treat opposing parties and their counsel with respect. And that doesn't mean that you capitulate. On the contrary, it means you use every bit of knowledge of the law within the rules to fight these fights fairly. And when you sense that somebody's got a trick up their sleeve, you call them on it. I like to tell people that we know all the long law on the books and we know all the tricks in the books because we've done both sides of this equation for years. And we know how to call people to task. But you got a dispute on your hands. It doesn't mean that, and I don't think it's productive usually, that you let that degenerate into a lot of emotional angst and anger and vitriol. And in fact, I think that's a lot of sideways energy. Stick to the law and apply the facts to the law and do that with great advocacy. We like to call ourselves storytellers. And when you do that well, your client has a good outcome. Final one I'll close with is an affirmation of our faithfulness to our clients and treating them with respect, but also the utmost integrity, always acting in their very best interest with diligence and competence and exercising good judgment. You know, when you get out of law school, you think you know what you're doing, and you very quickly learn that there's something to this concept called the practice of law. And you have to practice for a while before you kind of get the benefit of the hard knocks of experience. And one of the things I'll close with about our firm that I think is distinctive is that we have 7 lawyers, only one of whom has less than 20 years of experience. All of whom have both plaintiffs and defense experience. And I think you'll find if you go and look at their bios, they come from some of the very best law schools. And we are blessed with tremendous lawyers here at JUST Busby Law. And as I've described it, this is how we practice law. And if that's the kind of lawyer you're looking for, I think we're distinctively capable of providing those kind of services.
That's awesome to hear. And you know what? I thank you very much. I thank you for how you're presenting it and for your conviction. And I want to thank everyone out there for tuning into this episode of Ask the Attorney. If you'd like to learn more about JUST Busby Law and Scott Busby, you can go online to JUSTBusbyLaw.com, but of course here at IWantToBuzz.com. Do something good for yourself and do something good for others.